Hello children! Today Abby would like to tell you the story about the dragon on the mountain. Once upon a time there was a great big forest, and next to the forest there was a village. Now a village is a place where many houses are and lots of people live. And in that village lived many children, big and small. And every day those children would go to school, but they would not go in cars. They went and had to go on foot. Now, the big children looked after the little children as they went through the forest, because it was a little bit dark, because the trees created lots of shadows. But they were happy to walk to school. But one day they came to the forest, and in the night a great big mountain had grown. And on top of that mountain sat a great big dragon. And as the children approached the mountain, the dragon did not say a word. He just blew fire at the children and frightened all the children. And the children, they ran away. And they all ran back home crying. There was one little boy who wanted so badly to go to school. So he tried very carefully to go again, and he crept very carefully towards the forest on his hands and knees, and then, children, he came to where there was a great big rock, and he hid behind that rock, and he lifted up his head to peep over the rock. And as he looked over the rock, the dragon saw him and blew great big flames of fire at him again. And the little boy started to cry. And he cried big tears, but the dragon did not worry. He cried and cried, and he called out, "I want to go to school. You're not being fair. You do not own the forest. This forest is not yours. We pass every day. We need to go through the forest in order to get to school." But the dragon didn't listen. He just blew fire at the little boy again. But it was far away, so the fire did not come close to the little boy. All of a sudden, the little boy heard a noise. It was a flapping of great big wings. And when he looked up, right next to him, a great big bird with huge big wings landed. And the bird spoke to him. And the bird said, "Why are you crying, little boy?" And the little boy said, "I want to go to school, but this dragon will not let us. He keeps blowing fire at us, and we cannot pass." Said the bird. "Let me think now. I think this needs to be something we take to the King of the Clouds. If you're very brave, little boy," said the bird, "jump onto my back, and I'll fly all the way to where the King of the Clouds lives." And the little boy said, "Will you take great care of me?" "Yes, indeed I will." And so the little boy held all his courage in his heart, and he climbed onto the bird's back, and he held round the bird's neck, and the bird lifted his wings and flew high above the trees. And as he passed the dragon tried to blow fire at the little boy and the bird again. But the bird was too swift and flew right past, and he flew up through the trees and right up into the sky, so far that he flew beyond the clouds. And there he landed on one of the clouds. And on one of those clouds he told the little boy to get off. And the little boy said, "But can I get off here?" "Indeed you can," said the bird. And so the bird said, "Go and tell the story about the dragon to the king of the clouds." And so the little boy looked into the clouds, and there amongst the clouds was this most beautiful throne. It was a silver throne, and sitting on that throne was a great big king with a great big silver crown that disappeared into the clouds. The king's beard was as if it was the clouds, but there he sat, and the little boy bowed very, very respectfully and said, "Good day, King of the Clouds." "What can I do for you, human child?" said the King of the Clouds. "Well, I have a problem. I want to go to school so badly, but this great big dragon sitting on the mountain in the forest, he won't let us. He keeps blowing fire at us and chasing us home." "That is not so good," said the King of the Clouds. "I think I know just the right thing to do. I would like you to remember always the kindness in your heart, and go down with the bird and settle behind the rock and wait." The little boy did not really understand, but he listened as he was being told what to do by the King of the Clouds. So he bowed again respectfully, and he went and climbed onto the bird's back. He held on so tight, and he said, "Thank you, King of the Clouds," and off they flew, soaring high above the clouds and then down through the clouds and over the treetops, and they landed right behind the rock, and there they waited. All of a sudden, the clouds came together. Brother Wind blew, and the clouds moved and came close together, blocking out the sunlight. And all of a sudden there was a crack of thunder, and lightning shot through the air, and then all of a sudden pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter, and there was rain. The rain came down so hard, it was pouring with rain, that the little boy had to put his jacket over his head. Now, dear children, when the little boy peeped up to see what was happening to the great big dragon, he suddenly saw that the mountain, as it got wet, was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And the dragon was shrinking. The dragon as well was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, until the dragon was so tiny the mountain disappeared, and the dragon was a tiny little creature on the floor of the forest. And all of a sudden, children came running, because it was as if the children knew that there was something to look at. All the children from the village, they came to see. And they started to laugh. They said, "You can't blow fire at us now. You're too small. Look how small you are." And one of the children wanted to pick up a stone and throw it at that the dragon, who was now small. And the little boy, hiding behind the rock, remembered the kindness in his heart, just as the King of the Clouds had told him to. And he said, "Stop! Stop! Do not hurt! Do not hurt the dragon!" And he went carefully to the dragon, and he picked up the dragon, and he put the dragon underneath his jacket and he kept the dragon safe. And then all of a sudden the rain stopped. The clouds, they parted and the sun came out. And all of a sudden the little boy felt, oh, the dragon was getting heavier. But he started to grow underneath his jacket. But he looked and the dragon was so afraid. He said, please don't hurt me. I just need a friend. And the little boy said, but you need to have kind, gentle words. You just have to ask us. We are very happy to be your friend, but you cannot blow fire at us and stop us from going to school. I promise I won't do that anymore, said the dragon. Will you be my friend? I will, said the little boy. I would love to be your friend. I've never had a dragon as a friend before. All of a sudden the little boy had to put the dragon down because he had grown too big. And the other children wanted to laugh at him, but the little boy said, he's our friend. Do not laugh. Do not be unkind. Let's be friends together. All of a sudden the dragon went and climbed back onto his mountain. The mountain that started to grow bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden the mountain had grown to its greatest height. And the dragon was there, this huge big dragon sitting on top of the mountain again. And all the children suddenly said, he's going to blow fire at us, and wanted to run away. But the little boy said, no, he's our friend. He will not do that. Will you, dragon? No, said the dragon. I will be your friend, and I won't let you go walking to school anymore. I have an idea. You can climb onto my back and I'll fly you to school every day. And every day we can have fun in the sky. I will show you my great big flames. And all the children were so excited. They said, are you sure? Are you going to be kind? Yes, I will be kind. I promise. And so the little boy from hiding behind the rock was the first one. He climbed onto the dragon's back, and the other children came and climbed on. And because the dragon was so big, there was place for all the children, big and small. And then all of a sudden the dragon said, are you all ready, children? Are you holding on tight? And the dragon lifted up his wings, and he lifted off the mountain and flew through the trees. And he flew up on top of the trees. And as he went across the forest on the way to school, he said, children, do you want to see my flames? Yes, they all cried. He blew the greatest big flames out of his mouth and nostrils. And all the children laughed to see that. And then he swooped down and landed right in the school playground. All the children could get off, and they all said, thank you, dragon. Thank you for bringing us to school. Will you wait for us? And when we're finished, we can go home with you on your back? I will do that. And from that day onwards, children, the little boy, with all his friends, went every day on the dragon's back. And the dragon from that day onwards had special friends, that he was the happiest dragon that ever did live. And the children remembered the kindness in their hearts and were always kind to each other. Thank you for the fairy tale. And another day Abby will tell you a story too, another new story. And if you want to ask your mummies to tell me what story is your favorite story, children, they can tell me and Abby can tell it to you. So I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.